It's Little Satan. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day and staying beautiful. And welcome to another episode of What Makes the Cool and Conflicted. And in this video, guys, I wanted to give you guys a better aspect of my styles and wants. That way you guys knew what to expect visually with the project, as in characters, styles, and wants. And also give you guys a general look and detailed into what figurines we use and what we look for in them, plus what I think sets us aside from other customizers. So here we go, guys. Alright, so as we're in the studio right here, you can see many different figurines. I mean, all customizers use all different styles. As searching around, I feel like it's really down to Marvel Legends and DC and the DC line of figurines, more or less. But when it comes to me, though, I have a wider brand. Like, I will go for literally any figurine, because as you can see way back over here, we have Fisher-Price figurines, Rescue Heroes, WWE figurines, remove his face, McFarlane figurines. Actually, we even have knockoff. That Iron Man right there is a generic knockoff. Same with that Hawkeye and War Machine. Old school 90s figurines. We have more statue figurines right there, like the Sin City. Doesn't really move. Huge range of just different styles of figurines. Any aspect. I never really just go for, well, we're only going to use this, because as growing up in the 90s and 90s comic styles, just I love the aspect of a lot of accessories and armor pieces and weapons and anything like that, like pouches. I just believe the character should have multiple weapons, multiple items. So with that, I go with all wide aspects of figurines. I mean, the most posable figurines is the best, because even over here we have some of the Japanese Kamen Riders, so even some of them, their posability is way above any Marvel Legends or any of the DC line. But posability is very important, but it's really accessories and pieces, because you can even see there's the old school Gundam SD figurines, G.I. Joe Sigma 6, Warcraft, even some of the Star Wars Mashers right there. Don't know if you guys can really see that out. More Rescue Heroes, just a large, there's even a Wolverine Masher right there. So it's like huge variety in that. And it's just, posability matters, but it's really accessories. Honestly, it's pieces, because we will use any piece for anything. I mean, I know that in the next day or two, we're doing a showcase series of some of the pieces we made over here, and these arrows right there are just made from bone and like random back spikes on someone's boot, and then one Wolverine's claws. So it's random little accessories we use. We will use any little piece to make anything. You can see we have pieces just lined out for projects we're working on right here currently. But we will use any little piece to make anything. I mean, it's just, I mean, customizers, there's so many amazing customizers out there, but some of them are just using pieces and just repainting them and reusing them. I'm literally chopping these pieces up and remaking it to something. I mean, as you can see, I go with as much, these are my customizations, these are figurines that will be in the series of Cool and Conflicted. They're just not painted right now, and the project may actually end up being black and white depending on what funding works out and when we launch a Patreon, what we do with that. But probably gonna be black and white, so the paint doesn't matter right now. But as you can see, there's just so many different pieces. That's from, like, that's a Dollar Tree figurine. There's just all these little pieces. Huge variety. Layers of different pieces and pouches and armor. As much detail as we can, as much pieces as we can, but yet at the same time, our unique style as possible. As we can see, we use Rescue Heroes there and mix with some of the generic G.I. Joe's line that Walmart heavily carries. Corpse, I think is what it is the torso that was used for that. And then it's like the crossbow on his left arm right there is just literally random fodder pieces that were put together. And that's what most of the weapons are. I mean, even that riot shield right there, which is what it's supposed to represent, is made out of a not a notepad, but a clipboard, plastic clipboard that was cut in half. He has one as well. That's attached to his arm. That way it can move back and forth, which is used, as you can see, from Bionicle pieces. So, I mean, we've combined so many different series of figurines and different lines together to represent as unique as possible. And this isn't really detailed on each one of these. We plan on making a showcase series soon, which will be videos in detail to each of these characters and weapons and more of the general aspect. But as you can see, we use, like I said, as many pieces as we can. So much detail as possible. This is actually a helmet. It's removable. So many pieces. I mean, those are Skylander wings. From one of our review videos, we mentioned how we used the Batman animated body, and that's what the torso is used from, but it's WWE. Their Masher series, more or less, is the legs, Hawkeye boots, even Wolverine Masher left arm right there. We took some of the Ben 10 Alien bird hands, carved them out, and we put them over the top of his hand to layer it like there's a claw in there. Like I said, we'll have a showcase series that would detail all of them, their accessories, extra heads, weapons. Generally, each character comes with 3 weapons, 3 signature weapons, and then we'll have, some will have 4, but it depends how big the character is. As we can see, there's females down here. She has 2 massive swords, and she's also used from a lower half of a Rescue Heroes and the upper half of a Valkyrie, and then her shoulder pads are made from random robot boots. God, the list just goes on all the pieces that's used to make these, but you can see Bionicle feet, just a very huge variety. And some of these characters are the same exact characters, like these two, the same exact. That's just him in a different costume, a different design. I believe I'm pushing the limits on the characters and the designs on far as possible as I can with these action figures and styles and characters, because each one of these, our original character would be in it. This is more of our military area. As we said, we have a bigger one because I believe he has 4 weapons. He has a rifle on his back, his katana, his sai, he has a sword pistol on his lower back right there. And I believe he stands at a foot tall. And it's just, there's Transformers in there, Figma Arts, Sigma 6, Transformer Mashers, Kamen Riders, McFarlane Spawn, Dollar Tree Robots. The list is just goes on, as I said. And we'll do more, like I said, of a showcase series, but this is just to give you guys a general aspect that my style is, what my style is, and what the aspect is visually with these characters and their costumes, and then what we look for in figurines, and some of our weapons and whatnot. But visually, this is the art style and aspect of it, of the Cruel and Conflicted. And that's more of our customizations, because we do always, that's more of my style of what I believe the Power Rangers look like. Once again, they are not painted fully. I believe the White and Green Ranger are, but we have a sideline of customizations that we do, which is more up here, because that Deathstroke right there is the original customization, and it's more my interpretation of what I believe Deathstroke would look like. And then next to him, what my interpretation of what Deadshot would look like, which I went more for his early pimp concept and costume, and decided I wanted to keep that with his regular costume. I think we captured that really nicely. He's made from the same exact body, which I believe is a Scourge from Marvel Legends that we did for the Deathstrokes. I believe that they're on the Suicide Squad. In my headcanon right here, they'd be on the Suicide Squad, so that's why they have the same similar costumes. And as we can see, there's one of my customizations of my Batman Beyond. It's a little dusty. And we have Terry McGinnis here, holding a decapitated Joker's head. Body laying below. There's batarang in them. I believe we put batarangs in his knee. All the blood's made from hot glue. This was just a random cardboard piece we used as the bottom. We did a reference to the camera. It was supposed to reference to when he shot Batgirl. The crowbar in his hand is made from a twist tie, and it's just made hardened by super glue. And it was a reference to when he killed Jason Todd. Had a random boxing glove, and I was just like, that's just too... I have nothing to use that for besides Joker, and we say didn't end up using it for it, and there we go. And I believe his body is actually from a... God, I can't think of it offhand. Gunslinger? No, it's a vampire anime. I cannot think of it offhand. I'll leave in the description if I remember. Cannot think of the anime. But that is one of our customizations and personal pieces we have in our collection that we keep. And it's just a better aspect of my art style. And that's my interpretation of what my trunks would look like. Give a better shot of his shoes, because I was actually a fan of how I did those. Did more of a Jordan style. Once again, that's just to visually represent our anime, our art style. I mean, because we even did a Vegeta over here, and we wanted the same aspect. The silver hair, silver and black, I feel like that would represent Saiyans a little better. We put an F branding on his head because I feel like Frieza would have branded his army, his slaves more. And I like the soulless eyes. Some of my characters will have all black. Almost all my characters in one series will have all black eyes, and then will have green or blue or red pupils. And sometimes in my personal customizations, I test out like would that idea work out on an idea on my personal collection. It's like, okay, it will. So then we continue that onto our collection of Cool and Conflicted. And with that one, the all black eyes and green dots for Saiyans. We haven't painted his scout there, that's why it looks a little funny on there. We added that a few weeks ago. Same with his tail. His tail actually hasn't been painted. It's a little longer. It's more of a Frieza style, but I like that better than the monkey style. And I feel like the all black and dark blue with the chrome trim was a way more intimidating. We went with a silver instead of white on his armor. But that was my concept of what I wanted my Vegeta, what I would have Vegeta look like. Same with Deathstroke and Deadshot and Trunks, and the Power Rangers eventually is just more my interpretation of them. Gives you guys a good idea of what to look forward to with this and my aspects of what I'm more of a fan of. And I try to be as different as possible with what we do and what we build. As being one artist on a project of so many characters, it's easy to get caught up in one style. But we have very elegant weapons to very brutal weapons, and we make sure that each universe and each planet is very distinct and very different from each other. That way, they don't just clash in. I mean, I want you to be able to read each one or see each one and know that, okay, well, that's a Storm Hartley, you know, a little SATIN piece, and that's definitely a Cool and Conflicted project, but I also want it to step out and be different on its own. And that's also why we go with such a big, wide variety of figurines and pieces and accessories. It's just a bigger, we want as different as possible. That's just an aspect of the weapons we collect. You can see a huge variety. Many of these are collected all figurines. As you can see, there's many Dollar Tree guns. Some of them were cut up. Many pieces have been took from this. This table used to be a little more filled in, but we've used so many pieces. As we can see, it's just a random selection. So many open spaces because there's been many customizations built, especially with that. If you follow me on Instagram as Little SATIN, if you follow me on my Facebook as Storm Hartley, you guys will know we've been building a huge bone and dragon collection of weapons. So they took up a huge selection of these weapons over here, and once again we're about to do a showcase. That would be the first showcase we do. It's actually about those weapons, and this is our shields, which we don't use a lot. We're not a big fan of giving shields because, you know, it's kind of like medieval. If you wore armor, there's really no point in a shield. It's just extra space, so we don't really use shields or build shields or give them to our characters too much. As we can see, there is some of the bone and dragon weapons that I mentioned earlier, and I believe I showed them off with those arrows. That's also some of those right in here. I'm not going to show those off too much right now. It's hard to tell where they're at, but it's a little bit right here. And those axes right there. But like I said, those are going to be our very, very first showcase. It's going to be the first videos of those. We'll be showing those off in detail and what to expect from there. And then from there, we'll go to characters, weapons, and then anything else in the series. And you can have a general aspect of some more of them over here because we have more of a Jesus character right here. He's not finished, still in the process of being built. There's a God Lion, which we mentioned when we were reviewing our Warcraft figurines. We mentioned that we did have a godlike lion as one of the main characters. He's not entirely finished yet. One of his sons, more of a beast. And some more of our Japanese skull soldiers. So, and then of course a shout out to little SATIN right here, chilling out in his loot can of treasures or garbage. But I hope that gave you guys a general aspect of what we exactly look for in figurines, what we use them for, what we want in accessories. And like I said, it's just a huge variety. We really use everything, and that's what I really feel like sets us aside from a lot of other customizers. Is that just like I said, I've looked at them all, and it's just one figurine getting repainted. They're just using pieces and getting repainted. I literally would chop them up and make original weapons. You guys will see that in the showcase series, but future Rick and Morty, Rick custom. Plan on making a Rick action figure, just to have in my personal collection. Possibly do something as Back to the Future, because I do know I have a Back to the Future board over there, but we had a Terminator on it doing a thumbs up. I want to kind of incorporate that in a custom. Just not too sure how we plan on doing that. Plus, I've been very busy with the YouTube and launching and finishing up this project, trying to get some of these weapons built, so my personal customs haven't been priority. They've really been put on hold. So, and also we've even came to, like I said, building landscape pieces, because that's more of a heaven house. It's not painted obviously, but it's more of an elegant, it's not all dark and demonic, it's a very elegant house. And it's just, there's several other pieces down there, building pieces and castles. We have big plans for different buildings. We're collecting on huge landscape pieces. So like I said, we're planning on building this castle back there. We're planning on building just huge, for each of the figurines, we're building each thing in that little fruit box that's actually full of treasure chests. It's a box, it's a chest full of chests. This gives you guys a general aspect of definitely all the pieces. Like I said, it's a huge variety, because that's just helmets, heads over there, and these little soldiers actually are on top of all my pouches for all the little pieces. Those little pouches right there, we'll get these and just trim that off, and now that's a perfect size little pouch for any 6-inch figurine. even 7-inch. I mean, it's the perfect little pouch. It just works, gives a little extra accessory. And then, as you can see, we're picking up, we trimmed off this arm one right here, that arm one right there, but he still has 2 pouches right here. He has a belt full of pouches. Pistol in the holster, as you guys know, don't use it because it can't come out. But with these, you can trim up and almost make it look like it's usable. You could just take the handle off if you need it to. But other than that, that's what we get those for. And those, same with any of these, even more of these generic pouches on the legs. You can't see it because it's not painted, but it's right there. Easily cut off. Exact knife can take it off. Knee pads are usable. There's a knife right there. Don't like using it because it can't come out, but pouches there. And if you really get good at it, I mean, you can take these helmets off. You can trim any little piece you really need with your X-Acto knife. It's gonna get it done. Just gotta be real fucking careful. So, as you can see, and there's just a box just dedicated to capes, just skirts and capes and little pieces we've collected over time. We try to use those. It's hard because it cuts back on the posability, but we still have those. We still collect onto those, and it's just a personal box of Bionicle pieces. That's weapons. And the bigger box down there, as you can see, shout out to Vintage Stock for $20, I think, was that entire big box. And the big box is just full of the actual Bionicle pieces. The top box is full of the weapons and armors. It's empty because, in fact, halfway empty because, in fact, we've used a lot of it. But, like I said, I hope that gives you guys a better aspect of exactly how wide our collection is and our aspect is, what we use, what we look for, and what we want. So, alright guys, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay beautiful, honestly, and stay in tune for any more of our showcase videos and more on the Cool and Conflicted. Little Satan out.